Not having a solid onboarding process can actually damage your business and lead the new hires to quit their job much sooner. Many companies actually struggle to create a smooth onboarding process that converts happy new hires into productive employees. The bad news is there are common mistakes that many companies do when it comes to their onboarding process. The good news is we're a recruiting company and we are experts when it comes to onboarding. So today I'm going to tell you what these mistakes are and what you can do to avoid them. An effective onboarding strategy does not have to be complicated to be lasting and successful. In fact, ultimately, what you want to do is create a highly efficient approach that is actually simplified, yet thorough enough to immerse the new hire into their job responsibilities and your organization's culture. This is simply proven to have the greatest impact. So, without further ado, these are 6 common mistakes that most companies make when it comes to onboarding. Number 1, having a complicated and rigid onboarding process. Listen, a lot of companies find themselves with drawn out, really complex onboarding processes that ultimately increase the chances of failure. This can include having too much paperwork, or most of the information is just given in a handbook versus explanation, videos, or personal experience. There is also the issue that the information given might be too formal or too complicated to understand. And the steps that are given are expected to be practiced a certain way without any room for flexibility. Overflow of information on the first day or even the first week can be really overwhelming. For this reason, it's really important to evenly distribute the information. So this way, you don't intimidate the new hire. Giving the new hire too much information too soon will obviously make them feel overwhelmed, and therefore they may not be able to absorb the right information. So this literally damages the overall experience for the new employee. Not only that, but also the reputation of your company. Refusing to change or adapt your system can really be damaging for your business. If certain parts of your process is not working, then it's really important that you take the time and really think it through and make some adjustments. And of course, make it a win-win scenario. At least once a year, you should be sitting down and thinking about this process. What is working? What isn't working? And is it serving the business? Everything should be discussed, from the paperwork to the training. Number 2, poor first day impression. The employee experience is essential, and of course, first day impressions do count. Imagine you're starting a new job, you don't know anyone, you don't know really what you're doing or what to expect. And of course, having some nerves is normal. Now, imagine that you start this day and the people in the office are ignoring you, don't really care about you being there, or don't give you a basic welcome. Maybe the new employee walks into a messy workstation, a computer that doesn't work. The other issue could be you offer them as little training as possible. Maybe because you don't have the time. Or you rush through your onboarding checklist and really don't spend quality time with them. All these issues that I just mentioned can actually lead to a high staff turnover. It's fair to say that the first few days are intimidating and it can get really discouraging. So does this sound like a company that you would like to work for? Effective onboarding should actually build up confidence in a new employee. Not only that, but should actually give them a greater vision of their potential and all the possibilities that are out there for them within this company. You want to keep the new hire excited during the recruitment process, their first day, and of course, even longer. This means make sure that the desk, logins, phones, or any equipment is ready to go for them. Introduce the new employee with a warm welcome and a little excitement. You really want to make them feel like they belong and ultimately that you are excited to have them on your team. So I'm going to tell you a little story. I recently met somebody who is quite high up in Google, but started off working for Spotify. Now, let's call him Joe. Joe worked for Google for a very long time, and he was actually quite burnt out. He's more in the creative department, in the music department. And I had this opportunity to sit down with him and talk to him, and he actually went back to work for Spotify. Why? One of the best things that he said about going back was, number one, that his creativity and what he could offer was very much valued. But not only that people were really excited for him to be in that business. He was like the veteran of Spotify. He was the guy that everybody heard of, but didn't know. He was a bit of a legend, so everybody, of course, was really excited to work with him and learn from him. And that motivated him even more to work even harder because he felt like he belonged and he felt welcomed. Number 3, not setting clear goals or expectations. In a recent poll, it actually showed that 50% of workers did not really know what their employer expected of them. During the onboarding process, this is your time to be transparent and upfront with the new employee, providing future expectations for their particular role and future potentials of their role. Another important part of the onboarding process is really understanding the employee's goals, explaining what the company's goals are, and finding a way to align the two. Now, their goals is something that you should have really discovered during the interview process, but this is also about understanding the candidate's limitations, how you can or cannot direct them. Studies have shown that if an employee is not happy, they will leave their new job within 6 months. And most of the time, it's actually because of unclear expectations, which ultimately leads to demotivation. What you need is ongoing performance evaluations and one-to-one meetings with either a manager or a mentor. And you want these to be spread out between 3 to 6 months. Simply put, you really want to check in on the employee's progress, reinforcing critical concepts, and requesting feedback to see where you can improve and how you can also help them improve. Number 4, failing to create a more personalized onboarding process. If you have an effective interview process, then you will have a very good understanding of the candidate's personality, goals, and mindset coming into the job. But not only that, this should really give you an insight on how the candidate best learns. Everybody is unique, and therefore everybody's method of learning is also unique. There are many different styles of learning, but today I am going to show you 7 main styles of learning: visual, kinesthetic, oral, social, verbal, and logical. Knowing all of this and really understanding how the candidate best learns really gives you a head start on how you can prepare and teach them. Not only making their job easier, but also making your job much easier. It will also increase productivity. You can prepare with a distribution of intro videos, documents, team emails, micro-training, reminder emails, etc., etc. You can figure it out. The point is, take the time to make a plan. This will actually reduce the admin time and costs. You ultimately want to be able to reuse content, have content ready to use when needed, and setting parts of the onboarding process on autopilot. Number 5, failing to provide support or input. This part of the onboarding process actually includes taking into consideration the new employee's emotional needs. Remember that most companies at the 90-day mark lose 1/3 of their employees. The baffling part of this is that most of these issues can actually be resolved. Okay, now, your company doesn't have to make every moment a therapy session, but it should create an environment where the employee feels comfortable enough to come forward and express their needs. For example, you could create a space for them where they can talk about what they're nervous about, what they find challenging, and most importantly, how you can assist them to build confidence. Number 6, over-promising or under-promising. When a new employee starts, they will have expectations. And of course, they would have been given some information about the job. It's really important that you say what you mean and mean what you say, and of course, keep your promises. How you introduce the job, the company culture, and how they will be led and introduced into the workplace is also really important. For instance, if you promise them that they would have support during the training, but then they get there and really they're left on their own to sort of figure it out. Or you promise them a laid-back environment and you are like literally micromanaging them. Make sure you promise something tangible and real. So when you're developing your onboarding strategy, you really want to be honest about what your business is all about. Now, if you are somebody who micromanages, be honest about that. If you're somebody who is really going to let them deal with the job on their own, tell them that. It's better for them to know what to expect when they go into the job than, number one, be lied to, and number two, be surprised. Avoid the mistake of making untrue statements just for the sake to keep the employee around. And another little story for you guys about this situation. So I, at one point, was a waitress. Yes, good old days. And I started working for this cafe, and during my meeting, I was told that eventually my pay rate would go up within 6 months. Now, I actually made quite a lot of money for that business. I was one of the best waitresses that they had. And after 6 months, I did not see any money increase. So guess what happened? I left. The point is, I might have stayed if they would have actually, number one, had an open conversation with me about where they were at. Maybe financially they couldn't afford it, whatever. The conversation would have helped. And the other thing is, when you feel lied to, you're simply not going to trust your bosses. In conclusion, the same way you want to customize your onboarding process for your new employees, you actually want to customize your onboarding process for your business. Being prepared and having an adaptable mindset is really where you can take your onboarding process to the next level. Studies have shown that an efficient onboarding process not only allows a new employee to adapt well, but also increase productivity and efficiency. And of course, drastically reduce staff turnover. The other major issue is that many companies wait until employees are officially working for them before they start the onboarding process. This simply means that they have to spend a whole day scanning and filling out paperwork that could have and should have been handled beforehand. The onboarding process really starts before their first day, and you really want the new employees focus on the actual job the day that they come in, not on paperwork. There is a reason why the most successful organizations, 83% of them, in fact, begin their onboarding process days before the new employee even steps foot in the building. My advice is work smart, not harder. As always, I am here to answer any questions that you may have about onboarding, hiring, and your business. Leave a comment below if you have any questions or if there are any other videos that you would like me to make. Also, we have a ton of informational and educational videos on our YouTube channel. Information about hiring, for interview methods, and working with recruiters. So if you would like to learn more and expand your knowledge, hop onto our YouTube channel, maybe subscribe, maybe like this video. If you want to know more about who we are, how we can help you improve your hiring strategy, you can simply go to our website or you can click the description box below for more information. Mitsuoka Company, the best recruiting business, period.